homosexual pastors, district superintendent and bishops, and to allow same-sex marriage in the United Methodist Church. In 2019, a special session was called in St. Louis, Missouri, the USA, and the church decided to remain a conservative, traditional church where the definition of marriage and that a ban on homosexual marriage is maintained, and that the church will not ordain gay and lesbian into the ordained ministry. The progressives in the American UMC violated the book of discipline and allowed the election of gay and lesbian bishops. This action sparked the process for leaving of over 7,800 United Methodist local churches from the denomination by the end of 2023. Some of these local churches became autonomous, while others came together and formed a new denomination. To set the way forward for the United Methodist Church in Liberia, President Bishop Samuel J. Wyatt Jr. called a special executive committee meeting in July 2023. Persons attending that executive committee meeting proposed that a commission on the way forward be set up to research and advise the Liberia and a conference on the way forward if the definition of marriage is changed at the 2020 General Conference. Bishop Wyatt in that executive committee appointed a commission on the way forward. The commission reported to the 191st annual session of the Liberia Annual Conference in February 2024. The commission report recommended that 99.6% of all persons interviewed, about 1,500, agreed to not be with the UMC if they change the definition of marriage and legalize homosexuality in the church. The 191st session agreed on account of an appeal from Bishop Wyatt to put on hold the report and wait for the General Conference to end, after which a special session will be called for the church in Liberia to make a decision on the way forward. The church in Liberia has taken many resolutions that it remains a traditional church, unchanged definition of marriage, no same-sex marriage, no gay lesbian clergy. The cabinet met in their post-annual conference session and set a date for the special session to be held in July 16 to the 17th, 2024. The Conference Council on Finance and Administration, CCFMA, allotted funds in the 2024 budget for the hosting of the special call session. The General Conference has ended, but Bishop Wyatt has refused to call the special session. Bishop Wyatt, along with the conference lay leader, Brother Yiswa, have started and continue to misinform the United Methodists in Liberia on decisions of the General Conference and decisions of our annual conference. In the spirit of unity, the Board of the Ministry engaged Bishop Wyatt and advised him to call a special session up to this press conference. Bishop Wyatt has verbally informed the board that he will not call the special session. After hearing from the bishop, the board released a statement which is in the newspapers. After releasing this statement, the bishop now has started dismissing people from their jobs and suspending the board chair and the elected conference secretary, Reverend Dr. James Lala. Bishop has also sent a letter of dismissal to the conference secretary dismissing him from the United Methodist University, and I have also seen on social media a letter addressed to me suspending me from the United Methodist University as Dean of the John English Graduate School of Theology. Bishop Wyatt is not following the book of discipline of our church. He is not listening to the cabinet. He is not listening to the elders of the church. He is not listening to the lay people. And this has put and UNC in crisis. Therefore, as chairman of the board of the ministry duly elected by the Liberia Annual Conference to serve for a quadrennium, be informed that I am still the chair of the board of the ministry, and I hereby call all United Methodists in Liberia to take note of the following. 1. Bishop White is not the law unto himself. Our church is a democratic and an educated church. One person cannot single-handedly speak for the entire church unless the church gives its position. Hence, Bishop White does not have the authority to suspend the board chairperson and its members or to dissolve the entire board to his liking. This board was elected by the Liberia Annual Conference. As the duly elected board of the ministry, we do not acknowledge the so-called letter of suspension of the board chair or any board member because Bishop White is out of order and his actions do not follow the due process as set up in our church book of discipline. All board members are hereby cited to an emergency meeting to discuss and act on the bishop's letter to the board chairperson and take further actions to save our church from this crisis. All district superintendents are encouraged to continue with your ministries and hold mandate that our church is a traditional church. All district leaders are encouraged to continue with their ministries and hold the mandate that our church is a traditional church and should not accept change in the definition of marriage and the so-called regionalization. All auxiliaries, men, women, youth, young adults, are free to carry out your plan of actions that will ensure that our church in Liberia remains a traditional church. We call on the Liberian Council of Churches to call Bishop prior to the meeting as soon as possible. As Vice President of the Council of Churches of Liberia, he cannot continue to deny the elected, lay, and collected delegates to express their opinion on matters affecting the life and health of the church. We call on all United Methodists, therefore, to gather on July 7th, first Sunday, at the United Methodist compound at 2 p.m. for a time of prayer and worship for the United Methodist Church because the church is in crisis. Finally, we recognize that the West Africa Central Conference and the United Methodist Church are falling apart and is in disarray because out of the 4 annual conferences, 1.5 million Ivorians have left the United Methodist Church. 1.5 million Nigerians are on their way. These structures are falling apart, and we need to take a stand as a church to guide our beliefs, doctrines, discipline, biblical, and theological stand. God bless you. I thank you. Reverend Dr. George D. Wilson Jr., Chair over the Ministry, Liberia Annual Conference, the United Methodist Church. Thank you. I will now accept questions, if there are any.
Yeah, so we have Chokon Flammer from school.
Thank you so much. My name is Chokon Flammer. Thank you so much. Okay, my name is Chokon Flammer and I report for Spoon.
My name is Chokon Flammer and I report for Spoon Network. You did mention that the church, especially in Liberia here, is a traditional church, and as such, you cannot approve same-sex marriage or approve the definition, the new definition of marriage. Now, is it about tradition or what biblical principle or what the scripture says about same-sex marriage that you are holding on to? Because if you say traditional, people would think it's just something that people frame, but what biblical backing do you have to that?
In our church, when we talk about traditional, we talk about up to Leviticus chapter 18, verse 22, it's clear that a man shall not lie with a man as he lie with you. It's clear. The Bible speaks against same-sex marriage. And now, our denomination, called the United Methodist Church, went against the moral teaching of the Bible and endorsed same-sex marriage. And the Liberia Annual Conference decided, in light of what happened at General Conference, we will come back, have a special session, and decide a way forward. The church, the global church, has taken a decision. What do we say about it? And that's why we are encouraging the bishop to give an opportunity to both lay and clergy to create a space where people can express their opinion, where the report of the special commission that were established and the report from the General Conference, we listen to the reports, we discuss them, and then take a decision. But the bishop is adamant and saying that opportunity will not be given to the United Methodists, and that is not the United Methodist way. The United Methodist way is that elected lay and clergy delegates gathered at the annual conference or special call session or how you want to call it, and discuss and take decision. And it is from there when the decision is made that the bishop derives legitimacy to not speak on behalf of the whole church because the church has spoken.
Yeah, please, Carl.
So thank you so much. My name is Michael and I report for Sky FM and report 221. If I can recall, you guys started this thing on the day of the arrival of the bishop to Liberia. You guys started a call for a special session that the decision can be reviewed. Now, up to this time, the bishop has not given you guys here. It said that the bishop is more powerful than the goal at all costs. We need a constant action. If not, why you guys there's plenty of action if the bishop refuses to review this meeting.
We are still encouraging the bishop to listen to the board of the ministry. And why are we insisting on some form of dialogue? Because the bishop is in a covenant relationship with elders of the church. Okay, and it is from among elders that a head shepherd called bishop is elected. So when the church is in crisis, the bishop needs to engage the elders of the church to discuss matters affecting the left and health of the church. That is not happening. So we continue to impress upon the bishop to do that. We encouraging him not to turn himself into some ayatollah. He does not have absolute authority. Our church polity demands that the people at the local church level, the people of the United Methodist Church express their view. And that's the United Methodist way. This is why in our church structure, at the local church level, we have what they call the church conference. From the level of the church is the church conference. And not all members are members of the church conference. It is elected officers. So when there is critical issue affecting the life of the church, members of the church appeal to the pastor to open up the church conference of what we call a special called church conference, where all members of the church will participate. You will hear the voice of the people. And that's it's so unique.
How long will you continue for?
We hope it will not be long. This is why in our statement we say we are encouraging other stakeholders. Our bishop is vice president of the Council of Churches, so we'll be engaging the Council of Churches to engage in a conversation to see how we can come to understanding as a church.
My name is Aaron Billy, and I report for Porsche FM TV. I have two concerns quickly. The first one is that I'm a bit surprised when I see you as well being trapped in a bishop's decision on those who are suspended. If I may recall, you were one of those persons that I've enjoyed a very solid relationship working with the bishop. I'm concerned at one point in time, your relationship with the bishop, working with him at the Liberia Annual Conference, went south to the extent that he has to take a decision to have him suspended. That's my first concern. Secondly, with the definition of your press conference that United Methodist Church is in crisis, is it safe to say that United Methodists in Liberia have welcomed the practice of homosexuality?
The first question, when the relationship between the bishop and I became sour, I think it was after the 2020 call General Conference. I disagreed with the bishop on matter of faith. I strongly told the bishop up to yesterday, and I was in a long 2 hours meeting, and I told the bishop, we cannot agree because I do not support same-sex marriage. I mean, same-sex, since the action of the General Conference to endorse same-sex, I do not support it. I do not support regionalization that will use as a aid to improve same-sex. Okay? And so the bishop felt that, well, if you and I cannot agree on matters of such nature, then I'm going to take an action. And so by 5 o'clock, we saw the action of taking it out suspended. I shared with the ministry. The second question was?
I was asking, what else is safe to say that United Methodist Church in Liberia has welcomed same-sex marriages?
We do not support the decision of the General Conference to legislate same-sex marriage because it is inconsistent with biblical teaching, it is inconsistent with our laws of the country. So, we are encouraging the bishop to have an opportunity where the United Methodists can gather and decide the future of the church. This is what we are doing.
So I'm G.H. Webster Clay, and I report for FRONTPAGE African newspaper. So my question, had there been a time where the global body of the church have made a decision and is that gone down, well with you? You get me? Had there been a time when the decision from the global body did not suit you as a church here in Liberia? And be to that, what was your role before this whole decision was made by the global body? What was your role as a church here in Liberia?
The United Methodist Church became the United Methodist Church in 1968. And the first convening conference of the new denomination called United Methodist Church was in 1972. And it was at that general conference that the law that homosexuality is incompatible with the biblical teaching was upheld. And since 1972 until 2024, we have maintained the law at all of our general conferences. It was at this general conference that it was passed. And we are saying, as a conference, we do not accept such a decision of the general conference. And the only way you can hear us say that is through a forum where elected lay and clergy can gather and decide the future. That is how United Methodist operate, called the United Methodist Way. It is unfortunate that the bishop is trying to circumvent that practice, and it's unfortunate.
Just a follow-up on the question Mike you asked. You enjoy the confidence of the bishop over the years. And it said that this press conference was called because of the action taken against you, because your colleagues are very engaged and you have been perhaps
not to the public. But based on the decision of the bishop today, we are saying you have to leave spokesperson for this institution because of the action taken against you.
No, it's not that. This board speaks on behalf of lay and on behalf of clergy. And even the bishop is accountable to this board. And in time of crisis, the elders speak. And we are leaders of that board. So it became a moral duty that we take seize of the issue and try to resolve it. That is all we are trying to do.
What are your alternatives in case all of your advocacy are not listened to by the bishop?
We are people of faith. We are people of faith. And so when Jesus and his disciples were in our boat and the boat was trying to capsize. You remember that story? And he said, they ran. Where did they go? They ran down to where Jesus was. He said, Master, don't you care that we are going to perish? And Jesus got up and rebuked the wind that was calm. So, in the event that all explicit needs filled, we go back to Jesus. And this is why we are calling for a time of worship, a time of prayer, first Sunday, so that we discern what God through Christ is telling us.
So you are saying in a shortest time, no matter the situation, you will be in a while the activities, the negative practices are still ongoing to change the situation. That's what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll take the last question.
Just a follow-up quickly. My name is Strogon Fly again. Bishop, what's your fear when you hear about...
I'm not Bishop.
Sorry.
I'm Reverend Wilson.
Reverend, what's your fear when you hear about same-sex marriage is being approved by the United Methodist Church, especially in Liberia, aside from the biblical principles? Or what's your fear that when Liberia, the Methodist Church here approve same-sex marriage, what consequences do you see in the future to come for the church?
It will be this one. What do we tell our children in the Sunday school? A man and men get married, woman and woman get married. That will be the saddest thing we do. There will be adverse, unimaginable consequences in our society. That the largest Protestant denomination in this country, the United Methodist Church, has endorsed this. We'll take the last, right?
So finally from my end, you said you were dismissed. I do listen to you. So I'm told you were elected. Your position is an elected position. So can the bishop dismiss an elected official? Almost like in our government, I can't dismiss the law with all just
Yeah, on our church law, the bishop does not have the authority to do that. Because we're elected on a quadrennial basis by the accredited and the annual conference. It is only when we meet at the annual conference that new officials will be elected. So he does not have the authority to dismiss or suspend elected delegates. However, when you are elected and you commit a serious moral crime, right? There's a possibility that you can be suspended, you can be dismissed, but our church law provides for due process. And so due process, you will have to be first complained. That complaint will be taken to an investigation committee. You will have your day in court. You will answer questions, and a report will come up whether you are guilty or not, then action. So we have a judicial process in our church law, but that was overlooked. And we were suspended. Elected officials were suspended, and we are not even sure what has that to do with my role as being on the School of Theology at the United Methodist University to be suspended, and I've been asked today to turn over all of the practices in my career as being to the President of the United Methodist University.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you.
So you just watch St. Methodist, in the press statement, rejecting the global church stance on gay right, same-sex marriage. Thank you. Thank you for watching.